Welcome back. It is 10:35 right here on this 28th day of February as we wrap up this month in downtown Alton. And Kevin Edwards joins me now. Always Late TV Awards. The press release just came out on RiverBender.com. And Kevin, how are we today?
I'm doing great, man. How are you?
Oh, I'm hanging in there. Just wrapping up this month on the best note possible. So fill us in a little bit more about Always Late TV. Can you give us a little overview of what your guys' company does?
Sure. So Always Late TV is the name of my film production company. And we've been doing this thing in St. Louis for over 10 years. And we've done a lot of like local projects, but we started to push ourselves into making movies a couple years ago. And we said, you know what, let's just try this thing. Let's take Always Late TV. Let's make some movies. Let's push them out to film festivals and streaming services. And let's just see what we can do. See if we've got any legs. And we did. It was amazing because our first movie, Schmetterling, won 5 awards, some domestic, some international. And it's on 5 different streaming platforms, but most notably Tubi. And then our second film, Bonnie Conway P.I., won 6 awards, and it's currently wrapping up its festival run, and it will be up for distribution soon. So wow. We've had a lot of luck with our films, and we just decided, hey, let's do something else that's new to us. Let's actually have our own award show.
That's incredible, man. I mean, I think it's great. And, you know, I think it's really kind of cool just to get a little bit of that background that you were just describing. I mean, from start to finish, from where you started to where you ended up now, where this journey's taken you, how has this been? I mean, it's got to be, you know, something that you're really prideful of.
Yeah, I am. Some of it still doesn't feel real, you know?
Right.
Because, like, I want to pinch myself and you're like, Kevin, you know, like, can you wrap your head around this? Can you process it? And sometimes I can, and sometimes I can't. Well, you know,
it'd be hard for anybody to, you know. So, man, let's go right into this and let's overview the event real quick, and then we'll circle back to all the cool stuff you guys are doing. So it's this Sunday, March the 5th. And just take us through a little bit of an overview of what we can expect. Is there an admission price?
No.
Oh, that's even better. So take us through this.
Yeah. So the Always Late TV Movie Awards is an independent film awards presentation where we recognize, you know, all the excellent filmmakers, actors, actresses, composers, music video artists, documentarians. All of these people, they've made some fantastic art, and we want to recognize them by handing out some awards. And we've created an awards presentation that's a lot different than what you might see on TV. So it's not as formal, right? It's not as it's not as formal as, like, say, the Oscars or the Academy Awards. Everyone's in, you know, gowns and suits. This is a bit more MTV. So it's more of a thanks. Yeah. It's a bit more come as you are, or you've got your own style, bring that. And we've got not only the awards presentation, but we've got a red carpet area that we're going to have set up that will be available from 6 to 7 p.m. And after the show is over, people can pop back over there and get some more pictures. And then we've also got a cash bar, but parking and admission are completely free.
That's incredible. I mean, that's really fun. And this seems like something really neat because, you know, you're doing this such a cool way with this kind of, you know, just the organization of the event, because it's not one where, you know, you got to kind of suffer through, because some of those award ceremonies are always like the, you know, like the Oscars or Grammys. And I'm not too high class for those, Kevin.
Neither am I, you know?
That's really cool, man. And I got to ask you, how many awards are going to be bestowed upon individuals this Sunday?
So we've got 20 awards.
Hmm.
We've got Best Music Video, Best Documentary, and then we've got 9 awards for feature films and 9 awards for short films.
Wow.
So we're going to be passing out 20 different awards throughout the night, and they're going to be given out by our amazing presenters who are always late TV personalities that people may have seen in our movies.
Really cool. That is awesome. And what I think is great too is there's a lot of incorporation with Lewis and Clark. I saw the press release and saw some of the presenters. Just real quick, how was your experience with the college? How did that kind of propel you to where you are now? Was that a big step forward?
Yeah, I loved Lewis and Clark. You know, I went there from 2010 to 2015. I had completed my general studies there, and then I stayed at Lewis and Clark to complete my Missouri Baptist graduate classes because they were offered on campus. And then I graduated with my bachelor's in 2015 in criminal justice. And the school really was a great experience, especially the classes I had with Jen Klein.
Mm-hmm.
Who's going to be one of our presenters, and she's also helping coordinate the event. Amazing person, great instructor. Her classes just sort of like, you know, opened me up and really brought some perspective into my life and made me think, oh, you know, there's a lot of other types of people and, you know, issues and stuff out there in the world. And it's cool to learn about that stuff because, you know, I grew up in a small Midwestern town. You know, I didn't know what else was out there. And then you go to college and, you know, you get that experience that, you know, you paid for. And Jen really just killed it. So if it weren't for her, I probably wouldn't be the person I am today.
Well, that's incredible. And that's a great testament to, because I, came from the radio school, even though it was weird, Kevin. I started in radio, then went to school, which was a little backwards. But I mean, there's so many,
okay.
I really like pointing that out though, because there's so many great programs and resources there at our, local community college that can propel us to that next level. And with that being said, let's segue back to some of the really great projects and people that are affiliated with Always Late TV, if that's cool.
Sure. Yeah.
And I want to ask you, from the process, this journey where you're on now is, the streaming, the movie that's streaming on Tubi. Is that kind of the pinnacle so far? Have there been other projects along the way that have gotten you to this point that you can share with us?
Sure. Yeah. So for 10 years, I was creating a web series in St. Louis called Local Ambition. Mm-hmm. And it was a reality soap opera, and that didn't reach the success that my films have reached. But what it did was it allowed me to make a lot of connections within the industry. It taught me a lot of technical knowledge and how to be a director. And a lot of the process is just as administrative as it is creative. Mm-hmm. So you've got to be able to focus and manage people. And sometimes when you're dealing with a lot of different personalities, that can be challenging. But then you've also got to be creative, and you got to make the thing that you're producing fun to watch.
Right.
So that experience there helped me a lot before I jumped into making movies. And we made Schmetterling in 2021. Yeah, 2021. And then we started putting it into festivals at the beginning of last year. And then it got distribution last year on Tubi and, other platforms. But yeah, that was sort of what really gave me the confidence and the understanding and the skill I needed to make these movies.
That's it. I mean, that's seriously so cool just to get that insight because, I, been around, media a little bit with pro wrestling and the radio shows and this show, and I just love talking and getting that additional insight on something I've never done and always kind of had interest in. And it's not, from the production side, that's too much work, but, just to kind of throw my hat in the ring in a talent role. And it's cool to hear you talking about this, Kevin. I got to ask you though, just to kind of segue back in a tiny bit, with all the awards that are being presented, 20 in total, is there a category that you think is going to have some pretty, not contention, but just some, close results? Because I just looked through on the website, alwayslatetv.com, best documentary, the Joplin, Missouri tornado story. I think I have caught a tiny bit of in my previous work, and there's a lot of great stuff here.
Yeah, thanks. Yeah, that category's got some tough competition. Best documentary, Joplin, Missouri, a tornado story is going up against Jakku's Buzzkill and a 1969 Comet's Tale, and it's gonna be close. But I think if you wanted an answer from me and you said, Kevin, which category do you think has the stiffest competition? I'm probably going to say Best Feature.
Yeah.
Yeah, because the 4 movies that are up for Best Feature, we've got Friday the 13th, Vengeance 2, Bloodlines, and that's going up against The Lost Treasure of Jesse James, which was made by Adam Boster, who's a filmmaker out of Columbia, Missouri. Great guy. And then the other films are Gam Cam Girl, and that is made by Michael Paul Gerard, who's from New York. Great guy. And I Will Not Take Care of You, which is a very unique feature film because it's got a ton of different stories created by a ton of different directors, all sort of melded into one piece. So it's going to be really interesting to see, who comes out on top in that category.
This is really fascinating because, so many times, and Kevin, you can definitely, speak a bunch more on this than I can. I did a show in St. Louis for about a year and a half with Ray Hartman. And on Fridays, we would talk to local comedians, local musicians, and throughout the week would talk to local filmmakers. And there's so many in this community that are doing amazing things. And the fact that you're bringing folks in from New York and different parts to come here and be a part of this, that's got to be special, man.
It is. And it's another thing that's very surreal, because we've got a lot of local attention, which I'm extremely grateful for. There's a lot of awesome filmmakers around here, but we've got people who are coming in from, I believe, 5 different states.
Wow.
The closer ones, Arkansas, Kansas, Indiana, but then we've got New York and we've got people coming in from California. And they're all coming over here with no guarantee that they're going to win. So they're coming to this event, crossing their fingers, and they're hoping that in some of these categories, their name gets called and they get to go up on stage and they get to take their trophy and they get to say their piece and mug for the camera with their award afterwards.
Now, I got a question. Are you playing wrap-up music?
Yeah.
I love it. Oh, yes. I'm in. Done deal. I got to ask you real quick. It's completely separate from Always Late TV. I feel like I met you at Dynamo Pro Wrestling one time.
You probably did.
Okay. Now it's starting to make sense.
Yeah, I spent, 14 years in and out of professional wrestling.
Yeah.
From 01 to 2015.
That, I'm glad I asked because I know I've seen you around before, and I've met you once or twice, and I'm trying to picture it. And yeah there it is, a Dynamo Pro. That's awesome, man. And seeing how small worlds collide, I guess this is cool. But really quick, we got about a minute left. If you could, Kevin,
sure.
Wrap up or summarize this award ceremony and all the great stuff coming our way down the pipeline from Always Late TV.
Okay, awesome. Thank you. So, Always Late TV Movie Awards is this Sunday, March 5th. Doors open at 6 p.m. Parking and admission are free. We have a cash bar inside the lobby of Hathaway Hall on the campus of Lewis and Clark Community College. And our red carpet will be available from 6 to 7 p.m. And then at 7 p.m., the award show will start. And then afterwards, people can pop back into the lobby for pictures, refreshments, etc. And the show is being hosted by television and Hollywood star John Lear, who was one of the original Geico cavemen. And he's been on Friends and a ton of other television shows through 30 years of a career.
Oh, that's fascinating.
And yeah, he's currently part of his job is pitching television shows to networks.
Wow.
So he got a show picked up a while back by TBS, and he's a good buddy of mine. So he's coming in and he's co-hosting the show with St. Louis comedian Mary Jane.
She's great.
Who's hilarious. Love Mary Jane.
Mm-hmm.
And then some of our presenters are always late TV stars like Ashley Pryor, who's been the star of Schmetterling, and she's been in Bonnie Conway PI, Bellator Grossa, Katarina Clayton, Emily Mushbacher, Sean Scott, Mike Ratcliffe, Ben Vogt, Charles Pruitt, Sabrina Dawn, Ashley Kinnear, Amelia Rose, and local professional wrestling talent, Benjamin and Amanda Elise Trust.
Oh, cool.
Yeah.
Really cool. And I think it's great. And then what's coming down the pipeline from Always Late TV we can keep our eyes out for?
Yeah. So after the award show's done, we're going to start putting our heads down and focusing on producing our first feature film.
Wow.
Because we've done 2 shorts. So now we're going to, throw our hat in the ring, so to speak, and roll up our sleeves and make our first, full-length feature film, which is going to be a lot of work this year. But we've got a really great cast so far, and we'll be casting some more. And then we're going to start filming this thing late March.
Wow. There you go. I'm excited.
Yeah.
And whenever you get
Thanks.
done with that process or whenever it starts creeping up, come back on and fill us in on the journey.
Awesome. Will do, man.
All righty. On this Sunday, March the 5th at Red Carpet, 6 p.m. Awards show starts at 7 at Hathaway Hall. Always Late TV Movie Awards. Kevin Edwards, thank you for your time.
Thanks, man. I appreciate you.
No problem. At 10:52 on this 28th day of February, a quick break. We come back and wrap up this bad boy in the heart of the Riverbend.